How's it going, everybody? So we're talking about Stunning Tap. Once again, people seem to like the move. Now, but in all seriousness, I see a lot of wrong things repeated about the move, and I thought I'd clear some things up and talk about it more in depth. And no worries, I won't lecture. You'll probably even hear stuff you didn't think I'd say. But the reason why I even started with this video is that I was made aware that I didn't share my last findings about the move in any undocumented changes video. So sorry for that. Now let's start with the speed of the move. It is still a 500 millisecond move. You can measure this from both your own point of view as well as when the opponent is doing it to you. The whole animation consists of a hidden indicator and then the usual attack indicator. That hidden indicator can vary in length. This means that buffering or delaying the stunning tap will only affect this hidden indicator. I did claim before that the stunning tap could be delayed. There are two options here. Either I made a mistake and measured wrong because I tested with someone from NA, meaning connection could have played a role, because I'm sure that I got 333 millisecond indicators, which would point towards being able to delay the attack indicator as well. Or the move got changed in any of the previous patches and I didn't double check. You decide which one was the case. Fact now is though that every single attack indicator is exactly 366 milliseconds. It doesn't matter whether it's buffered, delayed, soft feinted or performed from a dodge. We're looking at a static indicator and the only variable thing is the hidden indicator. Players that look at animations will be able to tell from the movement and the disappearing of the heavy indicator on a soft feint. That helps as well. Now let's talk about something that is a very common complaint with Raider in general, his animations. I don't quite see the issue with his lights, but when it comes to the stunning tap, then I completely agree with the majority. The stunning tap animation is awful and frankly needs looking at. There's no arguing here. This type of animation skipping is unacceptable. You can't have a character do half a pirouette within one frame. That is just sloppy. The problem comes from inputting the move very early into the heavy animation, forcing the game to speed up and skip parts of the stunning tap animation. The blending of the animation seems to be missing. The character does a spin, sometimes without even needing to in my opinion, but I know fuck all about how this is done, so who knows. You can see this if you spam stunning tap and always do the heavy from the same side. The Raider always switches body position each tap. It feels unneeded and might be a reason for these janked versions. There is also a difference when you delay and when you buffer because it doesn't mess with the actual indicator, but with the animation. Buffering the move, which, let's be honest, most of the players do, can lead to bad animations. This exacerbates the issue because it's much more prevalent in lower levels of play. As I said, I can completely understand that people are annoyed by this. Fixing these animation issues would go a long way without even having to address the move from a balance standpoint. Another thing that leads to a lot of the complaints is the stun portion. First of all, we had stun moves since the beginning of the game and no one ever really complained about them because their functionality was non-existent. Stunning tap is the first move that really puts pressure on you with the blinding portion because of the possible high damage follow-up moves, which we will look at in just a second. The duration of the stun falls in line with pretty much all other stuns except for a few outliers like Centurion or Shugoki. It's 1500 milliseconds. I made an entire video explaining how PC players can lessen this stun effect, but what I didn't mention in this video is whether I think people should actually be able to do this. And no, I honestly don't think so. There should be no difference in the duration, brightness, shade or whatever else in this move when playing on different platforms. There is no separate balancing, so there shouldn't be any differences in functionality either. If this game was solely for PC, then I'd have no issue. Hardware discrepancies have always been a thing on PC, different graphics settings, higher or lower FPS, those are all common things. But not on consoles. I'm sure someone will bring up the 30 FPS issue in the comments without having the slightest idea what it means, but nevertheless, stuns should look the same no matter what. The other thing with stuns is that people say they don't want to have to guess. Well, tough shit. What's the point of a stun if it basically does nothing in terms of gameplay? The only time you should have to guess is with lights. and only side lights, because the top light is a 700 millisecond attack with an insanely telegraphed animation, which brings it back into the realms of reactable. And the same goes for the heavies, they're incredibly slow. What you need to learn are the animations though. They do change depending on previous stance, and especially the top heavy has a very confusing windup. It starts out looking like a side heavy. If you ask me, this is a great choice design wise. It needs to be a little confusing, otherwise what's the point of throwing a top attack after a top stunning tap? This is where matchup knowledge, and in this case knowledge of animations, comes into play. It's not terribly hard to learn these, so instead of wanting a lessened stun effect, go and look at these for 5 minutes and you will have a way easier time next time you face a raider. And that about covers it. I don't expect the complaints to stop anytime soon because people hate it when the opponent is allowed to press buttons. Still, I hope you'll now have a better understanding of the move itself, and I hope I changed a couple of people's mind what the issue actually is and which parts are fine. Thanks to them for helping me out with the video. He's very passionate about the stun tap animation. Thanks for watching. Laters everybody.